Welcome to Glowing Success. My name is Heidi and I am your host. This podcast is for beauty entrepreneurs. Join me weekly as we dive into the beauty industry's ins and outs, from business strategies, top-selling services, and taboo topics. I will be interviewing industry leaders with empowering stories and game-changing insights. Let's illuminate your path to success together. Let's jump into this next episode. Today's episode is all about nurturing your clients. How often are you nurturing your clients? What are you doing to nurture your clients? And I'm going to go into details about why I think you should try a lot of different ways to nurture your clients, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Glowing Success. I'm Heidi. Today I have a quick tip about nurturing your clients. So time and time again, I can tell you how to bring in a client, the different ways that you can market to bring into clients, but really it's your responsibility after they come in that door and get their first service, after that for you to nurture them to come back. So ideally, we would love it that the client had a great enough experience that they felt like, okay, I'm just going to book my next one. But sometimes you have to nurture your client for them to come back. And then more often than not, nurturing your client over the years shows them how much you care about them, shows them that you want them coming back, and so forth. So nurturing your clients has so many different reasons of why you should be doing it all the time. So let's go through some ways that you can nurture your clients, right? So I always start with a first-time client. So first-time clients, like I would send them an email or a text message, however you like to communicate with that client and whatever their preference is, stick to that and just touch base with them. So let's say you did like a peel or something on them, or let's say you did some lash extensions, let's say you did a facial, a wax. Doesn't matter what kind of service it is. In the industry, there's always going to be reasons that we can touch base with our clients. So just asking them simply, oh my gosh, I loved seeing you the other day. It was very nice to meet you. I hope, whatever service you got done is healing well. Or if you have any questions, let me know. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Just to let you know, the normal frequency for that service is this and this and this. So you can put whatever you want in that nurturing email or text message. I definitely think that you should put a call to action. So put somewhere in there of like, I want you to book your next appointment, basically, and put a link or some kind of button that they can click on to book their next one. So making it easier for that client to come back again. And I would suggest doing this within the first week that you saw them. So we can touch base with them. We can say, hi, we really liked seeing you. We want to see you again. Perfect. So that's your first time client. They're coming in. So let's say you haven't seen that client. So you already sent that text message or email, and you want them to come back and you haven't seen them come back in then a couple months, let's say. I would send an email, say, hey, we miss you, or I miss you, or something like along those lines. So obviously you're not taking my words verbatim right now, but just the general emotion or feeling. And that's what you want to do, is touch base with them that way. So obviously we haven't seen them in a while. We want them to come back, right? So same thing, you want to put a call to action in that email or text message. And then how are you nurturing them when they're in the room? So let's talk about that, because there's a lot of ways that we could be touching base with them and nurturing them while over email or text. Obviously, in those same email and text that I mentioned before, we can always be offering them a discount. You can always be letting them know about some retail you're selling and so forth. So there's a lot of different ways you can touch base with them that way. But let's talk about what's happening in the room. So this is where your note-taking is going to be crucial, because when you see somebody come back, let's say it's their second appointment with you, you are going to want to talk about something or touch base on something that maybe you talked about last time. So I always put really thorough notes for this reason, because I want to remember if they talked about a vacation. I want to remember if they talked about their kids, their pets, their spouses, partners. Like, I want to remember, how they liked their service. Like, I want to remember all the details about their service so I know how to do it correctly next time and to their liking. So the more thorough that your notes can be, the better off you're going to be to talking with that client and building that relationship a lot faster. But they're also going to feel a little bit more nurtured in that actual appointment, because you are going to be talking about things that they're going to be surprised that you remembered, right? Or you're going to be building that relationship further. So that's one way you can nurture them. Another way you can nurture your clients is obviously having like little gifts every once in a while. So let's say you got some samples of some products and you know that some of your clients need to, try something that they haven't. So that's a good way to nurture people. I'm always about samples. So if you can do samples, great. If you can't, that's okay. There's other ways to nurture your clients, right? So another way could be how you present your room, your atmosphere. I know in previous episodes I've already talked about this, but how you even have your room. So do you have it to be relaxing? So let's say you have a lot of clients that come in, they want to relax, they want to escape from their day, so forth. That is another way we can nurture our clients. But how are you nurturing your clients right now? So maybe write down some ways that you're nurturing, or write down some ways that you want to begin to nurture your clients. Because the more you can start building those relationships, that trust, that comfort zone, that familiar place for them to go to, the more they're going to tell other people about it, the more they're going to book consistently, and they're probably going to purchase more services or products from you because you're building that relationship. And I see a lot of times in the industry, this is forgotten about. So people aren't nurturing that relationship enough. They think that, okay, they came in, they got their service done, that's great, and then hopefully they'll book with me again. And it doesn't work like that. You have to nurture these relationships just as much as we're being intentional when we do marketing, right? So when you go off and do marketing, let's say you're doing marketing in person, you have to be intentional about that. You also have to be intentional about with how you nurture your clients and how they're going to come back and the things that they're going to remember and the things they're going to tell other people about you. So think of different creative ways that feel good to you, because everybody's a little different with this. Obviously, some people, it makes more sense to text people. Some people, it makes more sense to email them. Some people, it makes more sense to give them samples, like I mentioned. Some people, they just want to make the room a little bit more luxurious. Some people really nurture by sending discounts every month. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can nurture your clients. So really think about something that feels true to you. If it doesn't feel true to you, and if it doesn't make economical sense, let's say, or if it doesn't, just feel like that's what your clients are genuinely going to appreciate, then don't do it, of course. Don't go out of your way. But also, if you're just starting off in the industry, let's say you just started your business, or you're just starting to bring in more ideal clients, try some things. How are you going to know what works for you and your clients until you just start trying them? The consistency needs to be there, of course, when you nurture as well. So sometimes I suggest, when you're going on this journey and trying to find out the different ways you want to nurture those relationships, you really need to write down what works, what doesn't. And sometimes that can take some time. I will say 3 to 6 months is kind of normal. But try things because you just never know what's going to work until all of a sudden you start seeing some improvement, or you start seeing clients talk about things, or you hear them talk about things. But highly suggest get on the nurture train, because it is 7 times more expensive to bring in a new client than to keep one, people. So this is also going to save you money in the long run. But building these habits now will help your business down the road, because you'll already have implemented so many things that you can rely on as those things work, or this is what I always do when I have a first-time client, or this is how I always present my client, or this is the conversation I bring up when I have a new product to sell, or so forth. So if you think about nurturing your client, it really flows into a lot of different ways in your business, and you're going to be appreciative that you've built these things in the past that you can rely on in the future, and it'll help your clients feel more taken care of. It'll help you feel more at ease knowing that you have these things in place that you can rely on, and you'd be surprised of the different things that come about once you start nurturing your clients in so many ways. So highly suggest write some things down. So write the ways down that you are currently nurturing, and write some ways down that you want to start nurturing, and implement them as you can. So don't do everything at once, because that can be overwhelming. So what I highly suggest is just trying one thing. So say I want to start sending my clients regular emails or text messages. Start with that. You don't have to start with samples. You don't have to start with all those things. Or if you need to get better about writing more detailed notes, start with that. Like, there's all sorts of different ways we can nurture you guys, but the better and more efficiently you can nurture your clients, you will see better numbers, you'll see more returning clients, and you'll see happier clients. All right, well, thank you for listening, and hopefully you can show how much you love those clients. I hope you liked that episode and found something useful or a tip that you can use immediately. If you are wanting more marketing tips, business tips, or anything like that, I have a lot of resources on my website. So I have PDFs that you can download for free. So look in your show notes. There should be a link in the show notes that you can click on, and it'll take you right to my coaching website. And thanks for listening.